Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to check out the second brand new GTA 6 trailer. We're also going to talk about some of the reasons why they decided to delay GTA. As you all know, they recently pushed it out to May next year. We're going to go over some more information regarding that. And with that said, if you haven't already, hit the like button below, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's jump right in. Alright, if you told me that Rockstar was gonna randomly drop a GTA 6 trailer, I would have said you're nuts. But yeah, they randomly dropped one. So right at the start of the trailer, we have birds, we've got a pool, we've got houses, several things on this island here. Even a boat right there on the bottom left. Then in the next clip, we can see Jason's on top of the house and he's climbing down, and dude, this guy is shredded. But besides that, we have this old man here named Brian that is asking Jason to collect checks because apparently he has some tenants that are not paying. And this right here is where things get interesting, because in the next clip, we have this right here where he slaps this dude right across the face and he collects the money from him by just hitting the register. On the bottom left, there is a number there. I'm going to go over that here in a second. And there's a card that says 420. So apparently there's going to be some marijuana up in here. Interesting stuff. And I believe that is exactly what this area is. It must be some sort of dispensary. And on top of that, you can see a guy in the right side with the tie-dye shirt, and he's completely knocked out. Presumably, I'm guessing maybe Jason did it. I don't know. You'll also notice on the watch, it says 1108. So that is some really cool details there. And the bills and the coins, I mean, come on, guys. This is incredible right here. It just shows how much detail they're putting into this trailer, as well as the game in general. Continuing onwards, the next clip will show that he's following behind a truck that says unbuckled on the right, a jet ski on the left, so apparently you're going to be able to pull some jet skis, and then there's some workers on the left as well. And then in this one clip here, he's working out, which I wonder if that'll play a role, because we know in GTA San Andreas you could work out, so why not do this with GTA Vice City, right? Or GTA 6, I should say. It's crazy, though. I hope that that's a feature, because I think it would be awesome to see your character evolve over time from working out just like San Andreas. Also, right after this, we can see on the left side, it says a new billionaire every week. And then on the right, we have a cat that's propped right on top of an ATM machine. So I'm assuming we'll see different types of pets like cats, dogs, and even some wildlife, including alligators, which is what we saw in the first trailer. And Jason here, I'm assuming that's him, carrying a case of beer. Not to mention, you'll see there's a homeless guy here on the bottom right, begging for money. And then on the left, I'm sure this is Jason right here, because that vehicle right there is the same one we see at the beginning of the trailer. Now, right after he leaves the gas station, we can see he passes by some police, and then on the left side it says, warning, no video without permission, and there's a number to call. And this is where things start to get interesting. We can see he arrives at the prison, he picks up Lucia, and this is where it all starts from here. Because, well, they end up robbing a bank a little bit later on, and they actually include an SMG we've seen before in the previous games. And the bank that they robbed is apparently called Sin Frontera Bank. At least that's what I believe it's called, because the monitor is actually blocking it out. It says Sin Frontera National Bank. So that could possibly be the name. Again, it's hard to actually tell what it says here. If you guys can, let me know in the comments what you believe it says. Also, speaking of the bank, we can see that Lucia is using the same exact weapon as Jason, except the only difference here is his has a sight and hers doesn't have any sights on it. So that is going to be really interesting to see in game, because apparently there's going to be some weapon customization involved, and I think that's going to make a big game changer there. So moving along, we have another clip where Jason has picked up some beer, except this one is different and he's consuming it with Lucia, and that's interesting. There's going to be different beer types. Not sure if you're going to be able to consume those, but one would hope, because I think that would bring out the realistic part of this game, and assuming that's kind of what the developers are aiming for, because a lot of this stuff looks incredibly realistic. Speaking of which, in the clip right here, we can see that inside the house where Jason was working on, he actually has a snake on the bottom left. Again, we're going to see some more wildlife. We saw some animals such as cats. We've saw some snakes, and there's some birds and stuff. So I mean, come on guys. Even at the beginning of the first trailer, I believe they actually showed a crocodile or an alligator, whichever. Okay, I don't live in Florida, so pardon me on that. Anyways, there's a scene right here where they're inside the bar, some more beverages on the bottom. Interesting stuff. They end up going to a club that you'll see here as well, because Lucia's just dressed up all fancy. And then at some point, not too sure when this will happen, but Lucia ends up jumping down, trying to escape from this apartment, where I'm assuming this is the police chopper in the distance here, or up in the sky. Speaking of which, in the trailer, it says right there, they got your name, address, and all that, and the police are definitely gunning for both Jason and Lucia. Interesting stuff again. I mean, there's a lot going on. And there's actually a scene where Lucia's actually kicking somebody. So there's going to be like a fighting area. I'm assuming maybe a side objective or something you can do in game. There's a motel. There's some fast food restaurant, tacos or something there on the billboard. I mean, I don't know. There's so much crazy stuff, including a scene where Lucia's tackling someone up on a plane, and there's some cops and cars and blowing up, and I mean, there's a lot. I'm probably gonna have to block out that part because you know how YouTube is with certain violence. Nevertheless, there's a truck pulling an ATM, and then we have another scene here where they show Ammu-Nation, except this is Phil's Ammu-Nation, and we've seen Ammu-Nation several times in previous titles, especially in GTA Vice City, and it's amazing to see some of those references from previous titles in the GTA series. There's also a console here on the bottom left with a controller. There's going to be, I guess, their own system, their own gaming system within the series. Oh, and if you're wondering, is it the same exact console that Jimmy plays from GTA 5? No, it's not. At least when I looked back at some of the gameplay footage I have, it does not appear to be the same console. There's a few things I want to point out in terms of detail, because when the bike revs up, you can see the smoke coming out. You can see Jason hanging on to the vehicle. There's some nice physics there. And then in the back, we can actually see some really cool stuff here in this next one, because when this guy jumps up, the beer actually splashes out of the beer bottle, the sparks in the distance. There's just so much cool stuff going on within this trailer, and I'd like to know what you all thought about it. Did you think it was cool? Are you excited for it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about it. Now, before we continue forward, I try to call the number that was on the register, and unfortunately it doesn't go through. It's not a real number, at least for right now. Maybe it will be later on, but as of right now, it's not a legit number. Alright, with everything being said, we're now going to go over some information regarding the recent delay. Why did Rockstar delay the game out to May 26, 2026? Well, we actually have some news on that. So right here, we have a few posts from Jason Schreier, an American journalist, and this is what he had to say after, talking to the Rockstar developers. Skepticism is always healthy, but I've been keeping tabs on this for years, since my big 2018 story about Red Dead's 2 crunch. They certainly hasn't eliminated all overtime, but everyone I've talked to at Rockstar says it's night and day from previous projects. If that changes, I'll report on it. Nobody I've talked to at Rockstar has believed fall 2025 was a real window for a very long time now. Too much work, not enough time, and what appears to be a real desire from management to avoid brutal crunch. GTA 6 slipping into 2026 has seemed inevitable for months, if not longer. Yeah, apparently they delayed it because of crunch time and some other things I'm sure we're not aware of. And it's interesting to see that's one of the reasons. And the developers there never thought this game was going to see the light of day in this year. And yeah, it's not happening, of course, but hopefully next year is when we'll see GTA 6. If it doesn't happen, then I expect players to riot. I guarantee you some people are going to go crazy over that, but we'll find out soon enough. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, consider tapping the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you all in the next one.